Hey guys, welcome back. Today is a bit of a different video. This is what I'm going to call a model showcase, I think. Basically, I've had a couple requests since I started my channel to show off some of my models. So, I figured that's what I would do today. Sorry, I keep clipping the mic. Not all of these have been painted by me. This Wood Elf army was not mine originally. It was my stepbrother's, and it was his family, actually. Him and his dad, who got me into Warhammer originally. They were collecting and playing around 4th and 5th edition, which is why these models are all quite a bit older. So I figured I'd go through and just sort of show you what I've got. This is the majority of the Wood Elves that are actually painted. The majority of this army is primed but not painted, because that's what people do, right? You like buying the models, you like assembling them, and then it takes forever to paint them. I know why I do that. I only just started painting again after like a year, a couple days ago. So this first one we're going to look at here is one of the models that my stepbrother painted. This is just an old archer unit. I have my 5th edition Wood Elf army book here, which I'm going to be referencing. So these guys, who I think are called Glade Guard now, were, when this model was cast, just called archers. They were 11 points, and keep in mind, model points have changed quite a bit from 5th edition to 8th edition and into Warhammer Armies Project. I know I've said this before, but I think the guy who does Armies Project goes too far with his power scaling. I think a lot of stuff is way too powerful, but that's my personal opinion. And I think it's great that somebody's continuing to support the format. Anyways, these guys were 11 points a model. They had longbows and no armor. BS4, so pretty good shooters. Otherwise, they're just elves, weapon skill 4, initiative 6, etc. And here you can see all of them that he painted lined up. I don't plan on repainting these because I love having them. They're a relic of another time. And it's pretty cool to me to have that connection to my stepbrother who got me into the hobby initially. So these guys will remain as they are. So this next one that you're going to see is the Standardbearer that I painted for that unit of archers. And as you can see, it's a more detailed model. The archers are just plastic. This is a metal model. I painted it to try to match or complement the scheme of the other archers so that it would fit in with the unit, with the blue pouches and the green cloaks and everything. Incredibly, when my stepbrother gave me this army, he had 2 of the original adhesive paper banners still that he hadn't used. So I used one of them for this guy. I have another one, it's a bigger one, which I want to use for a battle standard. It's got more detail detail on it, but I haven't gotten around to painting the Battle Standardbearer yet. I also have to pick the model that I want to be my Battle Standardbearer. So, this is an example of my work. I'm not the best painter. I don't have the patience to do the really fine detail stuff that a lot of people do, and I don't have the skill to do other stuff that a lot of people are able to do. I paint to a level that satisfies me, which is more representative than literal, I guess. And that feeling is sort of borne out in my preference of models. I prefer less dynamic poses that are more, like I said, representative than literal. So I love old models. I love, like, monopose goblins from the Battle for Skull Pass. Love those models. They're so goofy. So, this next one that you're looking at is another one that I painted. This is a metal archer, quite a bit more dynamic than the other archers. I think the other archers, the plastic ones, were from a starter set of some kind, or some sort of less expensive set. This guy, I think, came out of a blister pack. And I painted him in closer to the style that my girlfriend and I decided that we wanted to try to go for this army, which is more of an autumnal style, so reds and browns and stuff like that, which, as you can tell from the plastic archers and the Standardbearer, now this guy, bows are red. These wood elves, wood is red for them. So that's a marker that I think we're going to try to stick with as we continue to paint these guys. I'm pretty happy with this guy, except for I hadn't noticed until I took these pictures that I painted his hair that's going over his cocked arm. I'd painted that yellow, and there's still a bunch of black on his arm. I've unfortunately already clear coated him, and I somehow didn't notice it. So he just gets to be like that. Which, like I said, it's fine. I'm not one to go back and fix things that I've already committed to. I'm not going to try to paint over a clear coat or remove a clear coat or anything like that. So he gets to stay like that, and I'll just make sure to catch that stuff next time. Okay, so this next one is one that my girlfriend did. This is a wood elf mage of some kind. Obviously a female mage. I don't know exactly when they switched from primarily female mages for wood elves to primarily male mages. Or if that was something that they actually changed ever, or if I only happen to have female mages. I have one male mage who is a hawk rider, so he's a hawk-mounted mage. I don't believe he's a character. I think you just could mount mages on warhawks rather than eagles. So you can tell that my girlfriend has a different style of painting than I do. She thins her paints down a lot and does a lot of layering and gets these really cool, I really like what that does for the colors. It's especially apparent when you look at terrain she's painted, which I'm going to do a video for the terrain that we have at some point, but she's really talented with color mixing and blending and stuff like that. Totally intuitively. She's never, taken painting classes. She only started painting Warhammer when I introduced it to her a couple years ago. So she's got a real natural talent for this stuff. And I really like these models that she's painted. So this next guy you're seeing here is a fantastic sculpt. I absolutely adore this guy. This is Ska the Falconer. He's a character from 5th edition. I think they stopped putting him in the books after 5th edition. He may have only been in 5th edition, I've heard. I can't remember if it's 5th or 3rd. I think it's 5th. Described as quote-unquote hero hammer. Because characters were so important to victory. And just looking through, if you ever have a chance to look through a 5th edition book, I highly recommend it because it is fucking packed with characters. There are so many options, named characters specifically. Your choices for unnamed heroes and lords are about the same as they would be in other editions, but there are a lot of named characters. And I really like, I mean, the sculpt is fantastic. The wings are so cool, and I love the way that the falcons are, he's like directing the falcons, and they're trailing these ribbons behind them, and he's got his whip. And I don't know if she did this intentionally, but the color scheme that she picked for him makes him look really kind of Mayan, like Central American, and I think that's a super cool effect. It really makes him stand out because that light blue really pops compared to the rest of him, so you can pick him out immediately from a distance, which I think is so great. So this next guy is a war dancer that I painted. War dancers haven't changed since 5th edition. They are what they've always been. They have their 4 dances. It's an extra attack, better ward save, higher strength, I think, and I don't remember exactly, but they have a bunch of different options. They have 4 dances, and each one is a buff for them. And at the start of each round of combat, they have to pick a dance to do. And you can't do the same dance 2 combat rounds in a row. So, there are some that are plainly going to be good in any situation, and there are some that are going to be highly situational. So, odds are you're going to be dancing back and forth between 2 dances, you know, the bonus attack and the ward save one, maybe. War dancers are super cool. They are highly versatile, sort of a berserker type infantry. Dual hand weapons, frenzy, I mean, they're skirmish. They're nuts. My greenskin army has been shredded several times by fairly small units of war dancers. This next guy is Orion, the Lord of the Hunt. He is the husband of Ariel. The 2 wood elf demigods, I guess. They were 2 elves who were possessed by gods. And they follow the cycle of the seasons. So they're strongest in the summer and weakest, and they actually go into stasis in winter. So if you're ever planning to attack Athaloran, do it in the winter. I'm pretty proud of this guy. Again, not the most detailed work, but I think he turned out really well. I'm really happy with the color scheme and everything. I decided for his spear, which is so fucking cool. My affinity for older models is quite plain because the newer Orion model is obviously a more detailed and more dynamic model. It looks more like a real guy with a real spear, but man, that that spear is so cool with the 4 ridiculous blades coming up around the central point. So, yeah, I love this guy. He's one of my favorite models I've painted out of anything that I've painted. Okay, so next up we have a tree man. This is just a generic tree man. You know, you get him out of a blister pack. We do have Doofu, the original Doofu. I don't know why I'm saying it like that, Doofu. His model is hilarious. If you haven't ever seen it, look up 5th edition Doofu model. He's got this giant hand cocked, ready to just like bitch slap anybody who comes near him. He's so wild. And Doofu has changed out of any of the characters. His design has changed the most since his inception. The new Doofu model looks like a Bionicle. It does not look like Warhammer. And that is actually a problem that I have with all of Games Workshop's more recent designs, specifically for fantasy, is they've stopped being miniatures in the sense that they used to be. They stopped being the 32mm heroic thing, right? And they've started leaning heavily into these massive monsters that are so visually dominant that the rank and file troops, which in my opinion are just as impressive when they're fully painted up and ranked up, become sort of visual noise that exists to frame the giant monster. The new Doofu is on the true monster base. What is it, 50 by 100, I think. The rectangular one that isn't the chariot base, because I think the chariot base is 40 by 80. I can't remember exactly, but anyway, so he's long, you know. But the old Doofu is on the monstrous infantry 40 by 40. And I just don't think stuff should have gotten much bigger than that. It's a miniature game. Miniatures should be miniature. They should be representative. And so next we have... Oh, I should mention my girlfriend painted this guy, this tree man. This is another example of her doing great color mixing and stuff like that. I love the plants, this flock that she added to him to make him look like he's actually, you know, covered in moss and like he's growing. So this next thing you're going to be looking at is just a set of 3 triads. I figured we had 3 of them, why not show all of them to you? Same thing, it was my girlfriend who painted these. I think the wood really serves her painting style. She's able to create really natural looking trees, or living trees in this case. And you'll notice the tree spirit models are on brown bases with longer flocking. And the wood elf models are goblin green, or as close as I can get, because I don't actually have any pots of goblin green. Goblin green with old, real flock. No static grass. It's real 1990s, early 2000s, crumbled up, whatever the hell it is, painted green. It's so classic. I love the look. And because of the age of all of these models, I have a grand total of 5 wood elf models that are actually new. I bought a unit of Sisters of the Thorn. They're actually new. They're from 8th edition. But because because of the age of all of these models, I thought it was more than appropriate to do the green base, green flocking, really simple. So now we're going to move on to my collection of creatures. So to start off, this is a horse. I just finished him. This was the thing that made me start painting again. Not super detailed, like I said. Besides, he's going to have somebody riding him, and the guy is going to be far more impressive. I'm batch painting these guys. I just happen to want to finish this one. Pretty happy with him. He's a horse. Whatever. This next one is a warhawk. I don't really have a whole lot to say about the birds. Actually, they're birds. I painted them to look kind of eagle-ish. I think it helps differentiate them from the rest of the army. They're more muted in color, but also, I mean, they fly, so that's okay, because they're these big, wide miniatures. I mean, big is relative. I think the eagle you're about to see, I'll just show it to you now. The eagle's wingspan is only about, I would say maybe 5 inches, maybe. Quite a bit smaller than the contemporary eagle miniatures. But same deal with the hawk. Painted him in a style that I liked. Different, obviously, than the warhawk, so that at a glance you can tell which one is which. Warhawk has gray feathers on the outside. Eagle has brown. Easy. Plus, the warhawk will eventually have somebody riding it, since that's their whole purpose. I don't even think you can take warhawks without a rider. So that's all I have to show you today. If you guys end up liking this, I will do another one. At least I have 4 armies that I can show off, plus terrain. This was not easy to do because I had to set the camera up and I didn't get it the way I wanted, but I wanted to make this video. I wanted to put this video out today, so I just ran with it. But next time I'll actually set up a light box and I'll screw with the color correction so it doesn't look like it was taken on a digital camera in like 2004. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider liking it and subscribing to the channel for more miniature showcase videos. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.